everybody, it's Amanda.
And I'm Jaime.
And we're your local real estate agents. We're here to talk to you today about how young people can buy a home in this market.
Welcome to Living in DeSoto County, Mississippi with Local Agency Realty Group, the YouTube channel dedicated to all things in Northwest Mississippi.
We're your hosts, Amanda Linton and Jaime Ross. We're local residents, moms, wives, and business owner realtors.
We're excited to share with you all the great things about the place that we call home. If you're interested in keeping up with all the things happening in and around DeSoto County, Mississippi,
like what it's like to live, eat, sleep, and work here, then be sure to tap the little bell to subscribe so you'll be notified when we have new content. Okay, so Jaime, we're getting ready for the spring market in 2025. You told me earlier that there's a burning question that you're getting asked over and over and over again. So what's that question?
Yeah, I mean, basically it's from every parent that I know that has kids from the age of 2 years old, or grandparent from the age of 2-year-old up to they're 20, and they want to know how in the world their kid or grandchild is ever going to afford a home. Mm-hmm. And I mean, honestly, I think it is. There's a whole conversation about it. I know we're going to get into it, and I don't want to jump the gun right away, but I think there's layers to it, and I think it's not only a kid being prepared, but I think it's also having the right mindset for that young person when they get ready to buy a house. You ain't buying in your mama's neighborhood. It's just not going to happen.
That's so true. Yep.
And I think that's where a lot of these young people have that mindset, is that they're going to buy something that's comparable, same school district they graduated in, same neighborhood, new construction. You know, they don't understand how their parents got to where they are today.
Because they weren't around.
Exactly. They don't remember it. They just remember right now.
Yeah.
Instant gratification. And it takes a little while to get there.
Yeah.
And that's really how you build wealth in real estate too, is you want to go through the seasons of buying a couple of different homes. That's how you make money. I mean, if you skip to the point of just buying that house that you're going to live in for a while and raise your family, you're going to be there for 10 or 15 years, you don't get to experience the wealth building of that house where you can sell it, buy something else, buy it, build equity, sell it.
Well, you don't get to experience that because you bought this crazy expensive house and your entire paycheck is going to your mortgage. I mean, not entire, but you know what I mean.
No, I definitely do.
The lion's share of what you're making is going to that mortgage payment.
Yeah. So, I mean, I could tell my personal story is when I graduated high school, Billy and I were fixing to get married, and that was 30 years ago, and gosh, we didn't have any money. I mean, I barely had enough money to write the $500 earnest money check. I asked them to hold it, please. Don't cash it. And then, you know, now I know you're not really supposed to do that, but they held that check for me. Thank goodness. But I bought a house, and, you know, I wasn't trying to buy in like the best neighborhood around, the most expensive. I just bought what I could afford because I just seen myself there for 3 to 5 years. And so at 19 years old, I bought that first house, and I was only able to do it because I was able to, like, I had a good real estate agent that helped me get seller contributions. So I got some closing costs paid. I had a great financing program. I don't think I had to pay any money down because I qualified for a City of Memphis grant program at the time. I'm sure it's still around. There's probably other renditions of it, but literally I just had to make sure that payment that I was on buying that house could fit what I was earning. And so I did it. I bought a $45,000 house back in 1995. And I lived there longer than what I had planned. I lived there for 10 years. But that's really how it has to happen. And that's something I tell my own kids. You know, my first kid did it. He bought in an area where it was affordable. He could get in, build some sweat equity, make the house better, stay in it for a few years, sell it, invest his money back somewhere else and buy the bigger house that he wanted, but he was more settled in life. And now as I have a 20-year-old who is thinking of, I'll be graduating college in the next year or two, where am I going to live? I mean, it's literally a conversation. I think because she's more sensitive to housing because we're real estate people. And so it's always a conversation that comes up, where am I going to live? Where am I going to be able to find a house that I can afford? I'm like, calm down. We're going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, JD and I were very similar. I grew up on 11 acres out in Hernando with a lake, And my dad owned a construction company, so every time we turned around, he was tearing down walls, doing an addition. Like, that house was probably 7,000 square feet that I grew up in.
Wow.
Not because it was built that way,
Right.
just because my dad kept doing stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's where I grew up in.
Yeah.
And the first house that JD and I bought, we moved out of an apartment into one of those teeny houses over by Northwest.
Really?
You know what I'm talking about? Those zero
Yes,
lot lines,
I
little
had no-
postage
I didn't
stamp.
know you lived over
Yep,
there.
Yep, that's where our first house was. We bought that house in 2010, when we were pregnant with Mason, because we wanted to have a home to bring, our first baby home to. So we bought this tiny little 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom that we could put some sweat equity into, and we could, update some flooring, and we tore out the entire kitchen in there. My dad and my husband tore out the entire kitchen in there. Like, I was like 9 months pregnant, a week away from delivering this baby, and they're just renovating the kitchen like it's no big deal.
Had to be perfect.
It had to be perfect for that baby.
Yeah.
But we kept that house for several years, and we actually wound up using it as a rental property for a while.
Okay.
So we made some money off of it and had people living there, and that kind of helped, set us up for moving to Florida. And in Florida, we bought our home there, then sold that one and rolled what we made there into our purchase here. So we really did do those kind of baby steps. And I mean, I still don't necessarily think that we're in our forever home right now.
Right.
I mean, if you were to ask my husband right now, he would tell you he wants 200 acres out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Which we don't need,
Yeah.
but he would tell you that's what he wants.
Yeah.
So I don't think that we're in our forever home, but I can guarantee you, since I bought that house in 2021, that we've built substantial equity in it by being in it.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing with us. I don't know that we'll be here forever. I mean, probably here, I'd say we might be here another 10 years and then we're going to go, but that'll be when we sell this, and I think that'll be our 4th house.
Yeah.
So I think we've stayed places a little bit longer than average, because I know I've got clients that like every 2 years they're calling and wanting to move.
That's my husband. He gets a 3-year itch.
Yeah.
He wants to
ready
do something.
to go.
Mm.
Yeah. So, but the way you make money in real estate is, selling it when you've got that equity built up in it. Sell it, take it, invest it into the next house that you want to be in, improve it, sell it, take the equity. If you sit on it for 15 or 20 years, at some point in time, the equity, I don't know what I want to call that, but like, I'm thinking of a graph in my head. At some point in time, it's leveling off.
That bell curve is going
The
to
bell
change.
curve is changing. And so you need to really be buying and selling before that bell curve starts going down. But anyway, back to the original topic of the video is, how does my kid buy a house?
Yep.
And so I think it's, I teach this class for a lot of high school students around here. And this conversation that we're having right now is one that I have in classrooms in DeSoto County, teaching these like seniors and kids that are interested in potentially going into real estate. But I mean, I talk to them about real estate, but I also talk to them about like financial literacy and like how to be prepared for life and stuff like that. But it's, making sure they got good credit, making sure they've got an income, they've saved a little bit of money, put them on a budget, let them practice owning a house. What's it going to be like? You can't go out all the time, and, money is not free, and you've got to put it in the buckets that it goes in. You got to get used to doing that. And being on a budget and kind of living that lifestyle like you had a home helps you prepare for having that down payment. Do it for 6 or 7 months. Now you got money for a down payment, closing costs, things like that, and you can do it. But the same thing that, I don't know if you used any kind of financial aid when you bought your first house. I definitely did. I could not have bought it without it. But all that stuff still exists. It's all still out there.
Yeah.
And so even though home values are more expensive than they were today, I mean, that first house I bought, $45,000. I mean, there are still houses in the Memphis area for $40,000, $50,000. I mean, most people are probably not going to buy in those houses. Those are going to be like investment property. People are buying them, have to put some money into them and things like that. But you can still buy homes in DeSoto County for $130,000, $140,000, $150,000. Need a little bit of work. You can get move-in ready houses for $180,000. They may not be in your ideal neighborhood, but they're a decent enough neighborhood that can get somebody through instead of paying rent for 3 to 4 years while they build some money up, build that equity, get ready, and buy that next house. And that's what I think is important, is for people to have that right mindset.
Yeah.
to do it. But
and going into that too, I think it's important for us to remember that wages have increased as well. So
Exactly.
if you are a parent or a grandparent and you're thinking about what you made when you were 19, 20, 21 buying that first house and how much you paid for your house. Like my dad bought his first house in Horn Lake for $17,000.
wow.
But this was in 1986.
Yeah.
This was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it was very different. What he was earning was different. What the house's costs were different. So there is a little bit of kind of like a disparity in our thoughts when we think about like, okay, well, what was I earning when I first started out and how could I have used that to buy a $500,000 house?
Yeah.
Well, that's a disconnect, right? Because it's just, that's not where people are starting. The starting line is moved.
Yeah. I mean, I bought my house making minimum wage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what minimum wage was then, but I can remember times of like during that time where I made like $5.75 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I bought a house making $5.75 an hour, maybe $6 at that point. I don't know, but it was that. I mean, that's when I was buying a house. So it can be done. I mean, you're absolutely right. The house values have kind of went up, maybe a little bit faster than some of the income. But we are here in DeSoto County and even in parts of the Memphis area, a much more affordable home community than a lot of other places in the United States.
Absolutely.
I think our income may be a little bit behind some of those other places too, but it all levels out. And so, kids may have to stay at home a little bit longer. They may not be able to move out and jump into that apartment that they're wasting their money in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that's another conversation I've had with my daughter. I'm like, you stay put.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you're not paying anything to live, and she's not trying to move out right now, but I think, I don't know what her exact plans are in the future, but I'm sure kids think about that first apartment, that first house, they want to get out.
That little taste of freedom.
Yeah. And so I keep encouraging her, like, hey, get out of college, get a job, save your money, live rent free, then buy the house.
Mm-hmm. So outside of thinking about a mindset, like both like an extended family member's mindset, but also a first time buyer's mindset, what would you think would be the next kind of piece of advice that you tell these people who are asking, how's my kid going to buy a house?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it just goes to this conversation that we're having. But if the kid is somewhat ready, like if they are older kid, young adult, got a job, starting to kind of really absolutely think about that, I would say first thing is talk to either a real estate agent if they're not already talking to one, but really probably the most important person to talk to is talk to a couple of different lenders, because not all lenders are the same. We have wonderful lender partners in this area, but not every one of them has down payment assistance programs for buyers. And so I think teaming up with a really good realtor that knows who has what to offer, because I try to place my buyer clients with lenders that have programs that are going to be appropriate for them. Like if I know somebody's looking in this certain price range, they're looking in this, then that means they're going to be in certain areas. And I'll know different lenders that have different programs that are kind of specific to areas, zip codes and census tracts and stuff like that. And so I'll definitely put them in touch with those lenders and say, hey, talk to them because they got special money. And let's see what we can get for you. And maybe we focus on lenders that have special money in special areas and take advantage of it, because those are still houses. They're still really affordable, and they become homes that you can build equity in. And so I look at it that way. It's not that, oh, where do you want to live? It's where can you afford to live, and where can we get the biggest bang for your buck?
And I think that's why it's so important when you're in the market to start with an agent before you go with a lender.
Absolutely.
I see a lot of people who will go with like big box nationwide lenders who don't have any access to the types of programs that we're talking about. And then will come to me wanting to use that lender, and that's fine. A client is allowed to use whomever they would like to. But it's always a happy day for us when we get to save somebody some money, keep some money in your pocket.
Yeah.
You're coming out less for a down payment, helping those first time people be able to say like, okay, this is my little nest egg that I've got right here. How can I take this and maybe some money from the state and maybe some money from a grant and maybe some money from a lender? How can I do that and get myself into a home?
Right. Yeah. There's all kinds of little tricks to make things a little bit more affordable, even on closing day, because closing day is the day that all the money's due. That's the day that Your closing cost money's got to be paid. Your down payment's got to be paid. Your insurance, everything has to be paid up by that day. And so, even having a savvy agent that can pick the right closing date to get you closer to the end of the month to eliminate daily interest. Because if you try to close on the 2nd of the month, or let's say the 10th, and then you're trying to skip that first payment, you're paying 20 days of daily interest charges, which could be $1,800, $2,000, $2,500. I don't know. I don't know what the daily interest charges would be on that particular house, but it's an unnecessary charge if you can just close closer to the end of the month. So I always try to, if I can, encourage people to close like 25th, 26th, somewhere to where we're not risking if we go late. Don't close on time that we're in the beginning of the month again. Give us a little bit of cushion. So I'm usually shooting for 20th to 25th of the month, and that kind of helps protect their money a little bit too. Keeps that closing cost down a little bit, makes that go a little bit better, a little bit further. And then also trying to encouraging that buyer, if money is like a big deal, they don't have a whole lot, and they just have enough to kind of get through their down payment and maybe a little bit towards closing. And you got to have a cushion in your bank account. The lender's going to want to see some funds available to get you through a couple months. But you're going to have expenses when you move into a house. You got a home inspection to pay for before you get there. You got appraisal to pay for. You got some out-of-pocket expenses. I think we've had some videos about cash that you got to have.
We'll link that other video.
We'll link it. Also encouraging that buyer, of course, as agents, we're going to make sure that we're helping them buy a house that's priced correctly. And that's another protection in the contract, is we're marking it that's going to be a contingency on appraisal.
Yep.
So we're just assuming the house is going to appraise for value. But, I run into it oftentimes, especially with, sometimes I would say it doesn't have to be new or experienced buyer. Just sometimes buyers think they know everything, and they know the market so well that they think that everything's overpriced, and they're just going to slash the price. And at the same time, they're going to ask for a bunch of concessions from the seller. It's not the way to get it. As a homeowner, and this is part of that mindset shift, so this is just that big conversation to have. When you are a homeowner, you expect your asset to appreciate. So these buyers that we're talking about buying a house, they're going to live in it 3 to 5 years. They're going to want every penny of equity out of that house when they can sell it. Everybody does. That's what every seller wants. I just want the most money I can get out of this house. And they do it quick, and I don't want to pay for any repairs. And so there's just this whole thing of what every seller wants. I've got you. Everybody wants that. I got you. That's my number one priority. Get you the most money, do it as fast as I can, and eliminate as many repairs as possible. So they're going to have the same mindset. And I think the way to do that is don't come in slashing that seller's price if we think it's going to comp out. And also allow the appraisal to tell us if it doesn't make sense. Now, obviously, if we can tell, like, oh, this house is way overpriced, then we're going to make the correct offer, or we're going to move on and find the right house.
Because I will tell you, I've run into situations like that before, where I've been working with buyers and I've contacted the listing agent. I'm like, hey, could you share some comps with me? Because I'm unable to find comparable properties at the listing price that you're at. And they've come back to me and they've said, you're right, there aren't. This is what the seller wants. So sometimes there's that kind of angle in place too, where you have a seller who thinks that they know more than the agent does. And you just have to work with your buyers to figure out, okay, like, based on the market, what's realistic? What's a realistic offer that we can try? And if the seller accepts it,
exactly,
fantastic.
And the other thing is, whatever's meant to be is going to be. And so sometimes you have to lose a house to be ready for the house when you find it. And I know it feels like the end of the world. I know to buyers, sometimes it feels like the end of the world when they don't get that house, that first house that they find, and they want to put an offer on it. And they put the offer on it, it doesn't work out. And they don't get it, and they have to move on. It's heartbreaking for them. I've been there. I mean, we've all been there personally, not getting it. And then when you find that house and it all works out and you get it and you get your offers accepted, and then everything works out and you get to the closing table, you're like, oh my goodness, thank you for unanswered prayers, because that wasn't the house that I was supposed to get. Now I'm in the house I was supposed to get.
That was what was happening to us in Florida. It took us 3 offers before we got into the house that we were in. And the way that it worked out is that I became best friends with my friend next door. And to this day, I haven't, we sold our house in 2020. So it's been 5 years since I lived there. I text her every day. Like we talk every day. She's my best friend.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't have even known that she existed if if one of the other two had worked out, you know, like hindsight's always 2020, but you can't see that when the offer's falling apart in front of you, you know.
I have a quote and it hangs on my wall in my office and I don't know it off the top of my head, but it has something to do with, you know, when things don't work out and at the end it ends up working out. But I have it hanging in my office. I wish I could think of the quote right now, but it's probably sitting next to me. But when I have buyer consultations in my office, because we're not filming in the office, just over. That's why I can't point to it. We film in an off location, but when I have buyer consultations in the office with buyers, I always point to that and say like this is real. Like you need to understand this.
It's a process.
It's a process, and you're going to go through a lot of emotions. And don't make it personal until we get to the closing table. Because right now we're in a business transaction. And it is not a personal transaction. You ain't even lived in this house yet. We're not going to cry over it. We're not going to get, we're not going to have broken hearts over it. It's just, it wasn't meant to be if it isn't. And then when it is meant to be, it'll happen. It'll be easy. It'll just work out and it'll just be great. Anyway, we had this is a long conversation about just strategy on how young adults can afford to buy houses. And really it just comes down, just kind of wrap this up, unless you have anything else that you want to add. But just to wrap it up, it's just to make sure that these young adults have good habits for their personal finances. They're treating it like they're buying a house. They're saving money. They understand, what they're going to need to do. And they're realistic about what they can afford. They have the right agent, and they have, and I know that sounds so cliche, like get the right real estate agent. It really does matter.
It does. And
then with that real estate agent, have the right lender. And you don't have to go with the first one that you talk to, because there could be a variety of reasons that you talk to more than one lenders. I always give a list of more than one lender. And I do it because I may not know everything about that particular buyer's personal financial situation. They may have only shared what they wanted to share with me. And that sometimes the lender gets more from them, and that's okay. Because I want them to talk to whoever's going to be able to work with them and offer them the best supportive financing for their situation. Some people have a house they're selling and they get plenty of equity in that house, and they're bringing that house equity and they're putting it in this next house, and really money for them isn't necessarily an object. To them, it's more about getting in that school district, getting where they need to be. But that's not our first time home buyer. That's not the people we're talking about. To them, those people, I think financing is key. And getting tapped into that down payment assistance programs, grant money, anything that's out there, and more the merrier. Because you can, on some of those things, double up and get more than one thing. And you can almost get yourself, I've seen people get into situations where they literally did not pay a dime to buy a house. In today's market, it still happens. Gotta be creative.
You have to know what you're doing.
You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta have the right team in play. And so I guess the advice I would have for all you grandparents out there, parents out there, encourage good financial literacy, encourage savings, encourage the right mindset. And then, as soon as you think they're ready, which is got a job and have saved up a little bit of money. I'd say if they're graduated college and they've been on the job 6 or 7 months, it's probably time that they're going to be thinking about moving into an apartment and moving out of home. Don't do that. Don't ever rent. Just go straight into buying that house. And buy a house like you would rent. Literally. If you would go rent a house, let's just use it for an example, in 38671 over by South Haven High School, or over by Northwest Community College, or potentially in Horn Lake somewhere, or Greenbrook, or some places like that where you can get affordable under $1,800 a month rent, and you would pay someone to rent their property. Why wouldn't you buy a house like that?
And realistically, your mortgage is going to be probably less than what you're going to pay rent.
So then guess what kid's doing? He's buying it, and she probably without a spouse. They're not married. Get them to get a roommate. It's okay. Get a roommate. get the roommate to move in. Someone they know, trust, rents a room from them, helps them with things.
The money goes into mortgage.
Mortgage goes into mortgage. Money goes into bank. They're getting their equity, all that kind of stuff. 3 or 4 years later, maybe marriage is in the cards. Who knows? I don't know. Kick the roommate out and tell them to call me. I'll help them buy their house. And then don't sell that house.
Yeah. Hold it.
Make it be a rental.
Yep.
Because you're in the rental neighborhood probably. But you've been saving money because you had a roommate. And maybe now you're getting married and you've really thought this out and getting strategic about how to do it, and you're combining some income and you've been able to save some money. And even if you're not getting married, you don't have to be getting married. I'm just saying, you waited some time, you saved some money, you make more money 4 or 5 years down the road, go buy another house and live in it for a couple of years and build equity in it and keep your rental. So, I don't know. That's just my piece. I think that you should never be a renter. I have never rented a house a day in my life except for an Airbnb for like a weekend. And I don't think that people should have to be renters. I think they should be able to be homeowners.
Yeah. I rented for a long time, but I guess for a long time, but not really, because we bought our first house when we were 22.
Yeah.
So
not a long
we
time.
rented throughout college.
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that. I totally get when you're in college, you're probably not buying a house because you're in school. You don't really have income.
And home wasn't an option.
Right.
So
Exactly. But I'm just saying, like, once you become an adult and you've got your job and you're done with college or whatever, it's time to buy a house. No rental. Don't rent.
So
throw it away.
It's possible in this market, absolutely. Even in 2025, it's absolutely possible to be a first-time home buyer. And if you're looking to purchase a house in West Tennessee or North Mississippi, Jamie or I or one of our teammates would be honored to help you. Yes. So please feel free to reach out to us. And if we can help you and serve you in any way, let us know.
Yeah. Don't forget to like and subscribe to all of our videos so that you can be alerted when we have new content.
Thanks for watching. Bye. If you're thinking about making a move in and around DeSoto County, Mississippi, our experts at Local Agency Realty Group would love to help you.
Whether it be a starter home, luxury home, a custom build, an investment property, or even land, we understand the market and can help you explore the local communities to find the right fit for you.
But we can't help you unless you reach out. So give us a call, send us a message, or shoot us a text. We're here for you days, nights, or weekends. Let Local Agency Realty Group lead you home.